You're trying to index the wrong maker to the. Go ahead.
It's an existing entity. I'm not convinced of that. I think it's still the same entity. Look, specifically, I think it's the same entity. The entity still exists. It's just been deprived of certain powers there.
No. Okay, you're not. Okay, you're clearly not tracking. Mm-hmm. What exactly about a fetus, alive and dead, make it the same entity?
It just has the same genetic makeup. I don't make claims specifically on whether or not. Hold on. Why is he cutting me off? Why is he cutting me off? Look, go ahead. Look, I don't hold the view. I don't make claims on whether or not it's the same person. I don't make personhood claims, right?
I'm not talking about personhood.
Yeah, I just hold the view that's relatively identical. Yeah, hold on. I just hold the view that's relatively identical. Oh, I can force the mod, right? It's relatively identical to itself on the stat. So.
Yeah, cool. This wouldn't. So this wouldn't matter, right? Because like what I'm saying is, you don't need to even talk about person. You just need to talk about a subject. You can talk about it being an animal. I don't care what it is. There needs to be a subject there to be harmed. That's cool and all. What I'm saying is, you can say they're relatively identical through like genetic makeup, and I can just reject that and say that they can't be identical due to the fact that one's a functioning organism and one isn't. So what's going to be your answer to that?
Relative identity is
relatively identical. Did you hear what I said? When I say when you say something is relatively identical, it's going to be due to the fact that they have the same genetic makeup, right? Like I can agree with that, but I'm saying this wouldn't hold because I can simply say that they're not the same subject due to the fact one's a functioning organism and one isn't. Are you not understanding anything I'm saying?
Different properties. Look, them having different properties, independent of the traits in which I'm saying they're identical in, doesn't matter. Right. I'm just saying that they're the same entity. Hold on. Wait, hold on. I just think that they're the same subject insofar as they still have this specific property. If they no longer have the same sort of property, right, or they have like extra additive properties, that doesn't suddenly make them a different like subject, right? Because they still have the same.
You think if we're comparing one functioning organism and a non-functioning organism, there wouldn't be a different subject?
No, I don't hold that view. Specifically, when you say subject, actually, it depends. What do you mean?
Well, we take a subject to be, it could be, in this case, it would be an organism, a functioning organism.
Well, yeah, no, I just don't take the view that like all subjects need to be functioning organisms. I think like a functioning organism can be identical to like say a non-functioning organism into a non-functioning entity. Insofar as like specific sort of traits they have, right? Like I think that if they have the same. Hold on. Yeah, I just told you. Did I not like already tell you?
What are you not understanding? Okay. You are very well aware of what numerical identity says, right? Via numerical identity, we can't say that a functioning organism is going to be identical to a non-functioning organism. What you'd be saying is that I am the same entity as the one that dies. That does not make sense. That is jargon. That's retarded.
Wait, what's the motivation for me to like hold to like specifically these two things? Like specifically, what's the motivation as to why I should grant like numerical identity? I just reject numerical identity as a whole. I reject numerical identity.
Wait, you reject numerical identity as a whole?
Yeah, there's no good reason for me to believe.
If you reject numerical identity as a whole, how can you hold the whole like depriving of valuable life experiences?
Well, hold on. So when I say I reject numerical identity, I just don't take the view that like anything is like numerically identical to like itself at a later point. I don't know what that would mean.
Okay. You take the view that not everything is numerically identical. Did you hear what I just said? If you reject this, I don't understand how you can hold your position.
But I just hold I hold my position insofar as they have certain sort of qualities, right, which are identical to one another. So if they have the same sort of qualities, then they're the same entity.
You're not tracking.
Hold on. You're literally confused, right? If you say that these two things are numerically identical, you mean that they're one and the same object, yes?
I would mean they're the same sort of entity in the sense that they develop into the same. Yeah.
I don't know what you mean when you say they're the same sort of entity.
Okay. When I say X is numerically identical to Y, I would take it to be that X develops into Y. That's what I would hold.
Okay.
Yes, we can take that. I think if X is numerically identical to Y, but not numerically identical to Z, then X can't develop into Z. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, no. That's what I'm asking. Do you think if I say, like, for example, I'm numerically identical to myself, like literally 2 seconds from now, that you think that means I can develop into myself 2 seconds from now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? Okay, specifically, what do you mean when you say like what do you mean when you say develop into myself 2 seconds from now?
Grow into. If you say 2 seconds from now, meaning that 2 seconds after I'm blurting out these words, you would grow into the 2 seconds from now. I don't see what's wrong with this. This is just like a restating of the view.
What that even means?
What?
It means like if you say that it grows into some entity at a later point in time, I'll clear what that even means. So
Okay. Let's just go this way. Okay, cool. If x is numerically identical to y, x would develop into y. And then with numbers, if I say I'm numerically identical to the Pucci that's gonna come in 30 seconds, that will simply mean that I'm currently developing towards that 30 seconds Pucci. Where is the contradiction or the incorrect or flawness in there?
Tell me anything. Look, I asked you specifically, when you say X develops into Y, what does that mean? Do you just mean that it
grow into?
Yes, that kicks the can down the road, right? It doesn't tell me anything either. Like you said, it grows into Y. Like, what does that mean?
What I don't understand what you're looking for. Okay, develops, grows into, go to that stage. I don't see how you can get further than that. That just gets irreducible at that point. That's enough explanation.
You're just using synonyms for the original term. Like you aren't telling me anything.
Hold on. Do you not think it's clear that when I say that X is going to go into Y, meaning that X is forming into Y, is not going to be like enough explanation? Like the whole like semantic reduction isn't going to do much to the whole blunder you just made about you rejecting numerical identity, even though that's your view.
You said sorry.
What was that?
You repeat what you said?
Okay, I'll just say that when I say X develops into Y, I don't see why you're trying to do this whole semantical reduction due to the fact that you've already made a big blunder that you want to reject numerical identity, even though that's a part of your view. It's like entirely rejecting your own view. It's like contradicting yourself. That doesn't make sense.
You can just invoke relative identity.
I told this guy, look, I already told you, I don't need to grant specifically that you like X is like numerically identical to Y, meaning that they're the same entity. I don't grant that specifically because I just don't know what those terms mean.
Okay. Meaning the same entity is that they develop into one or the other. They have traits that make them the same. What?
I wasn't done. I wasn't done. So because I don't know what those terms mean, what if I say two things are identical? I just mean that they have the same sort of relevant properties. Like whenever I'm speaking about them.
Well, repeat that. Sorry.
Yeah, whenever I say two things are identical, I just mean that these two things have the same relevant sort of properties whenever I'm speaking about them. So if I say like one football is identical to the other, I just mean insofar as they have the same sort of relevant properties that I'm talking about whenever I'm speaking of a football. Is that like confusing?
Yeah, that's cool and all. This football example isn't saving from the thing that I already like talked to you about. What? Did you understand what's the thing I talked to you when I say that like I just am not convinced that you can say that a fetus is formed by death? Just doesn't make sense.
You can say you aren't convinced that like if I grant that, then you can't say that fetus is harmed by death. But I'm unsure why. Like why can't I just reject numerical identity while also granting that like these two things are identical to one another?
Because when we say that a fetus is harmed by death, it would mean that they are a subject at the moment. Do you not understand that?
You can be the same person as the thing and not be the same entity. Like, you know, that's just like a conflation of subtles, right? Like you might not need to claim.
Okay. No, Rosanna.
The entire sort of motivation for me saying this in the first place is just I'm unconvinced specifically why you can't just be the same sort of entity in the relevant sense, right? Right? What's it called? While also not being numerically identical to one another. Why is that? Okay, bro.
Where's the debate?
He said his sister walked in, bro. Just wait like 1 minute, bro.
Self-admitted ex-daughter. Come on.
I heard his sister in the background too, but just wait 1 minute, bro.
Bro, Shinra, our theory about Shikio might be right, bro. Like, what the hell did I just read, bro?
All right, what's up? So, Rizan, what were you saying?
What's wrong with Shin?
I was saying
Did
that
you hear what I just said?
He can speak about
I said that my
identity.
sister
Identity.
I didn't hear anything you just said.
He can relativize the identities to specific subtles and then say that the reason why the fetus is being harmed is because these subtle conditions are being satisfied.
Okay, yes, clearly that doesn't make sense, and I've already explained why. So, if we're going to say that we're going to have a subject harmed by death, we're already presupposing that subject is existing. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We're presupposing that subject is existing. Cool. Now, it seems to be the case that if we hold to the position talking about depriving an entity of valuable experiences, it seems that we're talking specifically about the organism, correct?
When you say organism, I'm
the human organism.
The human organism. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
look.
Sorry. Rizwan started speaking, but yeah, look. When I say that this thing is harmed by death, I just mean that, I just mean specifically that if this like action did not occur, right, then it would have actualized some traits in which I value, right? But because the action occurred, wait, hold on. Because the action occurred, right, then it will no longer actualize these traits. And it's the same entity insofar as whenever it's dead, specifically, because of the fact that I believe it has the same sort of relevant traits, right, which I believe just make it the same entity, right? It doesn't need to have all of the same traits, right? It can be the same traits while also it can be the same entity while also not being identical in every single property.
Wait, no, that doesn't make. Okay, wait. Do you think I reject? Do you think I said something about like relevant traits and all that when I gave you the objection about like it being the different entity? Like it doesn't matter. My position doesn't matter about. Hold on, wait, yo, hello. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I don't know why people were speaking over. It's like so weird. What I was simply saying. Okay. I don't know. We're having like a crash out moment. Okay, beautiful. So what I was simply saying is that I don't understand what it means to say that when we say you agreed on this. When we say a subject is harmed, we're already presupposing this subject exists, right? It seems to be the case that when death occurs, this subject no longer exists. So I don't know what it means to say that a fetus or anyone can be harmed by death. I don't know what it means to say I can be harmed by death. Doesn't make sense.
Okay, this literally circles back to the initial claim you made. I asked you, why is it not the case that it can still be the same entity while also just like not having the same powers? Right?
Because you already hold on. I don't think you can be an existing entity if you're dead.
Okay, wait.
There's no I there.
For me? Define an entity for me?
In this case, it would be a functioning organism.
Yeah, I just reject that definition.
Okay, cool. Give me your definition of entity.
Whenever I say like this a fetus is the same entity, I just mean it has the same sort of genetic. I was specifically chill Mercury, but what's it called? I just take the view that it just doesn't have what's it called. Whenever I say these two things are the same entity, I just mean that they have the same sort of relevant properties.
Oh, okay, cool. So okay, let's just investigate that just like definition you gave. So an entity would have the same relevant properties. The relevant properties would be the genetic makeup, correct?
Yes, genetic makeup.
Okay, so you can harm a fetus before death. Let's just do this. Let's imagine there's a newborn. Let's just hold on. Hold on. Stop.
You say you can harm a newborn. Hold on. When you say you can harm a newborn, what do you mean?
Stop. Calm down. Okay, we have a newborn baby. We punch it in the face. You would say we harmed the baby, correct? Yes, no, perhaps. Agnostic on it?
Can you hear me? Am I lagging?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's just repeat it again. Newborn baby. I punched the newborn baby. Am I harming the baby?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's just say this baby died. I punched the dead baby. Am I harming the baby?
Are you punching the dead baby if it's already dead? Or are you harming the dead baby if it's already dead?
I'm punching the dead baby. I'm punching the dead entity.
Oh, no, you're harming it.
What was that?
You're harming. Look, you're harming the dead baby now.
I'm not harming the dead baby. Okay, no, hold on. Okay, hold on.
Because this seems like another confusion on my view. Hold on, no. This is just another confusion on my view. Hold on. This is just another confusion on my view. Right? Look, I think if the thing is already dead, right, then there's no experiences which you would have had otherwise, right? Okay, there's no experiences which you could have had.
The nervous laughter isn't going to save you.
Just calm down, right? There's no experiences which you would have had otherwise. Okay. There's no experiences which you could have had otherwise, right? Which is being like deprived from it, right? Right after like deprived from it, like if you were to do the action, right? But in the case in which it is already alive and then you turn it to make it good dead, right? Or you kill it, that doesn't suddenly, then there would be experiences that is being deprived of.
Okay, cool. So, okay. I don't think you like answered anything that I just gave you, and the reason that you're nervously laughing on the thing that I talked to you about, like the dead baby, is because you realized there was a very crucial mistake in it. Sorry, stop. Okay, so if we're talking about harming, right? You took it to be the case that they have to be an existing entity. We presuppose that, and then when I asked you to define an entity, it would be something that has like some sort of like relevant property. So it seems to be the case that a fetus would be identical to their dead counterpart. Okay, cool. And then I gave you an example about a newborn baby being punched. Just as soon as they got out the womb, they get punched. And you said, yes, they're harmed. But for some reason, you don't think they're harmed if I punch them when they're dead. Does it not seem absurd to say that you can be like identical, whatever? You can be identical to an entity, but one part of your relative identity can be harmed while the other can't? It just doesn't seem to make sense.
Specifically, the dead fetus has different. Okay, look, the dead baby has different powers, or it no longer has the same sort of powers, which would make it such that it would have been able to be harmed, like compared to the fetus, compared to the fetus beforehand. You understand?
Oh, well, yeah. What was that?
It doesn't have the same sort of power. So, like the fetus, when it is already dead, it does not have the capability to have future experiences. The fetus, which is already alive, right, does have this capability, right, which is being deprived from it in the case in which it is killed. You understand?
You're not. You're not depriving that fetus.
You're not, bro. Stop stuttering, you bum. Also, like, please,
there's no stuttering. There's no stuttering. You're not depriving anything. If you're okay,
just please respond, bro. Please respond, please. Please, bro. Please. I don't need any prevarication, obfuscation, or proliferation, bro. Please, just respond. Like, I'm tired of you giving the like character analysis like a Yugi, bro. Just please respond. Please.
Wait. What did you say?
I said, please respond to the argument. Also, why is Mercury like giving this guy cat hands? What's going on?
Don't worry, we're on my laptop, buddy. We're not looking at chat. Now, it's just like, I don't understand this. Because, like, why is it that you want to hold the view that we are relatively identical to our dead self? It's just like so weird.
Okay, like, is that the response?
Yes, I'm asking you to expand, Shinra. Did you ever get people to ask you to expand on your fucking view?
Yes. I already told you. What I mean.
I want to expand on the view.
Look, I already told you what it means. Right?
I want you to expand on the view.
Yes.
I need you to expand
on the view. When I say they're relatively identical, I mean they have the same sort of I mean that they have the same sort of relevant properties, right? Such that, right? So take, for example, me right now. Look, just shut up. Shut up while I explain this. Just shut up while I explain this.
I'm asking you so I can note this down so I make sure you
silence yourself. Silence yourself while I explain the view.
And you
silence yourself. Look, silence.
It so I can note it down and you don't backtrack. Are you going to repeat it? Okay, perfect. Same sort of relevant properties.
I'm about to repeat what I said. Can I finish my sentence?
Okay, what are the relevant properties there?
Can I finish what I said?
What are the relevant properties?
Can I finish what I said?
When you say what the relevant properties are.
Tell me
what the relevant properties are. Come on, dude.
I already told you. Keep in mind, I already told you, by the way.
Just tell me the relevant properties. Is it just genetic makeup, or are you adding something else now?
I already told you.
Is it genetic makeup, or is it something else?
I already told you, right? I already told you. So can I finish my sentence?
Can you tell me, apart from genetic makeup, what is it?
Can I finish my sentence?
All right. Yeah, cool. I'll just put genetic makeup in the notepad.
Okay. Can I finish my sentence? Please, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Look, so again, you can have the same sort of relevant properties such that I would claim you're the same entity while having different powers. So, for example, if I'm like, say Mercury now, and Mercury, if I cut off his legs, right? But say that both of these two are Mercury insofar as they have the same sort of relevant properties, right? Which are assigned to Mercury, but they have different powers. So it would make sense. It would make sense for me to say that I'd harm Mercury, right, through like hitting him on the leg if he still has legs. But I wouldn't be harming him like through quote unquote hitting him on the legs if his legs don't function, right? Because even though they're the same entity, they just have entirely different powers. Do you understand now? So in the case of the
I don't understand what powers are.
Shut your mouth. While I'm continuing.
You asked me a question and I answered. You asked me a question and I answered.
You don't understand, so I'm just going to keep elaborating. Look, you don't understand, so I'm just going to keep like speaking, right? So look, in the case, yes, you've answered it, right?
No, you didn't give me an answer. What does it mean? What does it mean to say powers? I don't understand that.
So when I say powers, I mean it just has the same sort of causal powers, right? It has the same sort of causal powers. It has the same sort of like powers intrinsically.
That doesn't tell me anything. Powers are causal powers. Can you tell me what a fucking power is?
It has the ability to cause certain effects, right? It has the ability to instantiate. It has the ability to instantiate, like you can just use it in Aristotelian sense. Yeah, it's causally efficacious. It has the ability to instantiate certain properties. Right? Okay, who are the pedos, bro? Who are the pedos? Where are they? Are they women? Question mark?
Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, it's around. Never mind. No more worthy challenges.
Is that what other?
Yeah.
Bro, where's the debate? Keep going.
We stopped speaking for like 5 seconds, man. Like, chill.
Gang, Shinra, you're losing right now, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
what
sure.
you probably want to say is just that. What you probably want to say is just like, numerical identity
Pucci is
normally
one, by
means
the way.
absolute identity, and then like
Huh?
you just deny there
Oh,
any
damn.
absolute identity relations. Just deny absolute identity as a concept. Say
But
anytime you try and say X is absolutely identical to Y, it's just false.
I
I
just
told them I denied it. Like, fine, like literally before you unmuted your mic, by the way, sir. Okay, Joe, please, thank you. So, like, respond? Question mark?
were you not going to continue? I
Oh,
asked you to actually
well,
define powers. You didn't tell me anything. You told me some sort of like causal. Hold on, sir. Let's calm down. You said it has some sort of like causal prowess, meaning it can instantiate some sort of properties. But this seems like so unclear to me. I need to understand.
This means the ability, to engage in causal relations. So the ability to bring
Ability
about
to
certain
engage in causal.
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
what
when you
causal
hold
power is.
relative yes, and when you hold to the relative identity when talking about an abortion position, is it correct to say that X equals Y, like only to some properties, meaning like the genetic makeup, like you said, correct?
Yes, when we
yes.
say that X equals
Okay,
Y, we're not
cool.
speaking of any we're not speaking of
I
all sortals, we're just speaking of specific sortals.
what?
Have
You were
sortals in
speaking about
identity
what?
by which we a sortal, so a sortal is just a way in which we sort certain entities. So for example, I might say
I ain't
that
gonna lie, bro. Shut
Pucci
the fuck
I
up,
might
bro.
say
I
that
came for
Pucci
Shimra versus
I might
Pucci,
say that
not your
Pucci is
bitch
the
ass
same.
nigga. Be quiet,
I
bro.
might
Damn.
I might say that
W
Pucci is the
fucking
same
mono.
as I might say that Pucci is the
Fucking
same as
mono.
Mona. I might say
W
that
fucking
Pucci is
mono.
yeah, I don't know
W
who keeps
fucking
saying that.
mono.
Yeah, you might say something like Pucci is the same as Shinra, and then you might say that what I mean by Pucci the same as Shinra is
Hey,
that Pucci is the same
we,
human as
we
Shinra.
know what
So
a
like
sort
that's a
is. Hey,
sorcery in which you say that two things
Wait,
are identical.
What? Repeat that thing about Pucci being the same as Shinra.
But if you say that Pucci is the same as Shinra, you just might be saying that Pucci and Shinra both share the property of being human, and that's a sortal that we can say things are
That's
identical by.
what the fuck? Okay, Pucci being the same as Shinra, it's because they share the relative part of being a human.
No, that's
That's
not what I'm
retarded. I'm
saying.
talking about
That's not what I'm
when
saying.
exactly that.
That's not what I said.
Cool. Okay. No. Okay.
We're
What did
saying you
you
just trying
say?
to box it. Okay, what I'm saying
Uh huh.
specifically is just that
Uh huh.
you can have identity mean different things in different contexts, right? So, for example, somebody might say that when I say that Shinra is identical to Pucci, what I mean is just that Shinra and Pucci are the same human. Now, that might be a specific way in which somebody invokes identity, but obviously you can invoke identity based on different sortals. So the sortal will be context dependent.
Yeah, cool. And obviously, what I mean when I say like a subject or an individual, I'm not trying to talk in a relative sense, right? I'm trying to find the thing
Yeah,
that
he's
distinguishes.
denying that you can do
Yeah.
that. He's denying that you can do that. So you're just
Yeah.
talking past him.
Yes. Yes, sir. And that's why I'm explaining because you decided to spin in for Mr. President Shinra here, right?
Yes, no, I can give you
Um,
motivations for why that kind of talk is just like irrelevant. Like I'm an error theorist about absolute identity talk, so I can give you multiple motivations to accept that.
wait, you're an
Have you heard
error
of
theorist
the?
about absolute identity?
Yes, I don't
All right,
believe
give
that's
motivation.
meaningful
Yeah,
to
yeah.
even talk about. Yeah. Okay, so have you
Yeah,
heard
yeah, give
about
your
the
motivation.
101 Dalmatians paradox?
No, I don't. Repeat that for me. Go ahead.
Okay, have you heard about the 101 Dalmatian paradox?
No, go ahead. I want you to explain it.
Okay, no, in fact, I'll give you three paradoxes. Just to solidify the belief. There's the
Mm-hmm.
101 Dalmatian paradox, the paradox of change, and then there is also the paradox of the church's paradox. All right. Okay, so I'll just get all of these for you. One sec.
Ironic.
Mercury's tag, by the way, I accidentally kicked him from the group chat. No, that was an accident. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely kicked this guy from the group chat.
Yes, shape it to the paradox of constitution. Then okay, yeah, you can look at all the paradoxes, and then relative identity can solve all these paradoxes by just rejecting absolute identity. You think, Jam?
I think it just copy paste. The paradox of change. Absolute identity requires an indiscernibility across all properties. We have a leaf in the change code.
So who won, Shimmer or Pussy, bro? What happened?
H of A. It's absolute identity requires an inverse inability across all parts. I consider an example when we have
That's
a
just
leaf and
Leibniz
region
law.
started. It's the same thing. How it understands that some
If I can
properties
ask
of
a
a leaf
question real
have
quick.
changed. Who? To me? I'm reading the paradox.
Yeah, a question for you. Yeah, but you might need, some clarification. Because, like, it depends. If you hold like a Leibniz law if you hold like Leibniz's law, you might